Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to create a boxed advent calendar. And what I mean by that is that I've created these little boxes and I've added a number on the front of them, and I'm going to make 25 of them, one for each of the days counting down to Christmas. Now I'm using the John Next Door summer lantern box, which actually I think is so versatile that you don't just have to use it for a summer lantern. I think the name is a bit deceiving, but what you will need is an A4 sheet of card, and I've got this very festive sheet here, and I've been doing them in gold and red. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to secure this. Now I would suggest, if you've got fancy paper like this, I would suggest securing it on these tab bits, because if you lose a bit of the pattern on those, it won't actually matter, because they're the bits that you use to fold it over. So I'm just going to secure those down. And that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take my base plate. So I'm using my grand caliber because for some reason it wouldn't actually go through my Spellbinders, whatever it's called, platinum. So I need to have a look at all the sandwiches. Ideally, what would be really nice is if these companies actually put the thickness on these plates so you knew how thick they were. So I'm just going to run that through my grand caliber. Now here's my piece cut out. One thing that I did forget to say is that I have been cutting out the numbers at the same time as cutting the boxes out. So here's one of my red numbers, and they all fit in this area here. So it saves time fiddling around with cutting them out later. So I've just been using the John Next Door Advent numbers and using them at the same time. Now, as you can see, I've only run this once through my machine and it's cut it out perfectly. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the folds in all of my folded lines. So start off doing those ones, and then I can do this one. So I'm just on the front design is on the face down, and I'm just folding them around, and you can start to see your box already taking shape. So I'm just going to make sure that I've folded all of them. I'm not worrying about these curved bits for the moment because they fold in a different direction. So that's all of those, and that one. And don't forget to also fold your tabs up. So I've got two here, and then there's two on the end here. There we are. Now these ones here are actually going to be folded with the back of the box, the inside of the box facing down, and you're just going to pull them round up towards you. Don't do it too hard. You just want to do it gently. There we are. So now you can see how your box is going to look. The next stage is to add some of your sticky tape. Now I'm using the high tack tape, and it's been sticking very well to this card because obviously it's got a shine to it and it's textured. So you'll always be a bit wary of anything like that because it might not stick. But I do have to make sure that I've given it a really good press. So that's those two. And those two are the easy ones because they're wide enough to take the tape. These two on the end, as you can see, are slightly narrower. So I'm going to cut my tape and then going to add it to the tab within the line, the fold line. So the fold line is on the here, this side, and my tape's going on that side, and as you can see, when I turn it over, you've got this extra bit. So all I'm going to do is just trim it down with my pair of scissors, and make sure you remove it from your scissors. So now I'm going to do the other one. So just keep it one side of the fold line so that it doesn't show, and you don't really want to have a sticky area on the side of the box, because before you know it, all the boxes will be stuck together. Right, so there's those, and now I'm going to just remove the tape. Now I'm removing all 4 pieces, and just be careful removing this, because sometimes the tape doesn't stick because you haven't pushed it hard enough, but you can see here that you can see the shiny part of the tape. So just really give it a good press, and I'm just flicking using my scalpel, my craft knife, to flick on the edge, and it pulls it up. So there we go. We're nearly there. Last one. I can't see this box just being used for well, for summer, or just for this. This is a lovely box. Not only will it create this advent calendar, but you're going to have a box that you can put a beautiful present inside. The other thing is the design actually comes with some very lacy effect panels, which you can cut into the sides and these bits of the box, and I can see those looking beautiful with a tea light in the middle on a wedding table. That would just be stunning. So I think this box has got a lot of versatility to it, but I think when you say summer, you kind of just think it's for one thing only, but it's not. This is a box that's going to go on and on and on. Now I'm ready to fold this, so I'm going to start with this inner tab here. So because I found it's easier to then just slide, just going to give that another fold, slide that over the top, and you're just doing it really gently until you know it's in the right place, and then you're giving it a good push. So then you're going to fold it round and do the same on this side. So you're just going to line it up until you're happy with where it is, and then push. So because we got this high tack tape, you kind of one shot at it really. So now we're on to the side ones, and again you're just going to do, you're just following the box round. So lining it up, and once you're happy, pushing it. And we're now on to our last one. So I'm just going to bend that round and line it up and give it a good push. And there you have your gift box or advent calendar box. And the next thing I need to do is to add my numbers. Now on my number 1 here, I put it on and I hadn't realized that I've got the join here. So when I did my number 2 box, oh, here's my number 2 box, I moved it so the join was at the back, and I think that looks a lot better. You can't avoid this join at the bottom, because if you do it on the join at the bottom, you get that side one. So I wouldn't worry about the one at the bottom, because it's going to be stood up, so it's not going to show. But this one down the side, I would just keep an eye on. So there's my side join. So I'm going to flip it round to this side, and I need a number, I've done 2. Ooh, so I need a number 3, and I should have a number, oh no, where's my number 3 gone? Oh, here it is. Here's my number 3. So I'm just going to pop the, it comes with some really tiny bits, so I'm just going to poke those out. There we go. These are really lovely numbers, and it says they've named them Advent numbers, but to be honest, I've used it on a first year birthday card, and I think they'd be lovely on an anniversary, all sorts. I just don't think, although it's called Advent numbers, I don't think you can use them just for Advent. So now these ones here are really tiny. So should have just, I'm just using, I've put my pokey tool somewhere safe and I can't find it. So this is a bamboo cocktail stick, and it's actually really good because it's got quite a big point or sharp point on it. So right, just getting these tiny ones here, and then those tiny ones there, and then we'll be ready to do it. Now you could, if you wanted to, put these flat so that just glue them straight down, but I've used my silicone glue again, as I do. So let's go with silicone glue and my cocktail stick. Okay, I'm trying to be really tidy, and I've got myself a neat little tidy holder, so everything's in there. And I'm trying to remember to put it back when I finish using it, because otherwise they roll on the floor and I'm forever hunting for them. Right, so I've got my little bit of silicone glue. Now I want to make sure that it's secured in 3 spots. You could go with these bits here if you wanted to, but just bear in mind that your silicone glue is going to be behind your dots, and ideally you want to try and keep it covered. So let's see how it looks. So there's my first one. It's just a bit more silicone. And I'm just rolling it on because this silicone seems to work better if you roll it. And it does tend to, your bit at the top will get a bit clogged, so just keep an eye on that. I usually just wipe it with a kitchen towel. So there's my silicone glue, and then I need my tweezers, which I have popped in my box. Oh, now I've got to, oh, it's got to go that way up. I was going to say, which way does it go? Oh, now yeah, I think you are going to need a bit on these 2 bits here. So let me just add some there, just to really hold it, because you want this secure because it's going to be used. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this round. Now you have to be a little bit ambidextrous with this. Let me turn it around first, and then I'm going to pick it up with the tweezers in my left hand, and I'm right-handed, so this isn't necessarily an easy feat. So right, I don't think this silicone glue is going to show through. Those holes are so tiny. Okay, that's one bit, and now I'm trying to squeeze the glue with my left hand whilst holding some tweezers. There we go. I'm just going to pop a little bit more on there and a little bit more on there. Okay, so we've got a good amount there. And as you can see, I've already got some on the box, so I just need to make sure that I go to the same area. And then I'm just going to pop it all down, give it a little press, not hard. And this is the point where you can actually move it. And I think I'm a little bit over, but there we go. For some reason, I've decided to put these on straight, and I'm not exactly very good at doing them straight. But the beauty about this this paper is it's got lines on it, so you can make sure that your bottom is lined up. So right, I think that's going to be the best I'm going to get it, because it's just slightly out, but it's for my little crafter, and I don't think she's going to notice. She's just going to be more interested in what's on the inside. Now let me show you. Now I need to get some gold ribbon, but I've only got red at the moment. But I want to show you how you an easy way to tie your bow. So obviously you fill it before you do this point, but now I want to start at one of the holes in the front where my number is. So I'm just going down the hole, back up the next one, down the next one, up the next one, and all the way around until I reach back to the beginning. So there we go. If you're at all worried, this looks like a small piece of ribbon, but in actual fact, don't forget you've also got to pull it up. So there we are. So we're back to the beginning, and I'm just going to tie a knot. So there we are. And just pull that tight. And I want to tie a bow with both ends coming out in a good position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 loops, and then I'm going to tie a knot with those 2 loops and pull it tight. And as you can see, it creates an ideal bow, and then you can just loosen it, pull these 2 ends a little bit, and then tighten it up. And then I always tend to pull the ends again. So there's our, oh, I think I've made that a little bit too short, but you can get the idea. You can you make 2 loops, and then you tie those loops in a knot, and it creates a bow where your ends behave themselves. Almost, apart from the fact I think I might have tied it upside down. Let me show you again. So I'm tying it with this part facing me. Let's see if this works better. So you make a loop and a loop, and then tie a knot with those loops. Now this is fiddly, especially if you've got a short piece. So if you're doing it for the first time, you probably want to have a bit of a longer piece of ribbon than I have. There we go. Now I'm just about to lose that end, but that's okay because I can grab it and pull it down a bit. There we go. There we are, that's better. Can you see now that our ends are at the bottom and we have this lovely bow effect? That's it. And then all you've got to do is just trim your ends and smarten those up a bit, and there's your box tied. And my little crafter really loves jigsaw puzzles, so I found a wooden jigsaw puzzle with a Christmas design on it. And so each day she'll get 1 piece of the jigsaw puzzle, and also they need to have their bit of chocolate, don't they? So I found some gold coins that can go in there. Now I hope that gives you an idea. So there's my 3 done so far. I've only got 22 more to make. Hopefully that will give you an idea of how you can create something beautiful which can last for a few years if you put it away safely, and then each year you can then refill each of the boxes, and then they can enjoy opening the box, finding the little gift inside, and counting down the days to Christmas. Have fun creating. Thanks for watching.